Let's go. All right. Welcome to Clozer Cult Podcast. I'm your host, Alma Merrill. Today, I have Brett Wilson.
Hello.
Brett Wilson is a mortgage lender. One of the top 1% of the nation in mortgage lenders. Does thousands of transactions. And he's also one of my very closest friends. What? Yeah, no, he is. He really is. So I just want to welcome you on the program, bro.
Thanks for having me, Alma.
So Brett does all of my lending for me. He handles all my files. He does all of my buyers. Helps to get through private lending deal, like all kinds of. We've done all kinds of cool stuff together.
We have.
And dude, I'm just so happy to have you on.
Well, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah. So tell us what the heck is going on in the marketplace right now, dude.
Well, it's an interesting market right now, Alma. Obviously, interest rates have been higher, and I think that slows the market production a little bit. And,
right.
But I think if we're looking forward, I think great things are going to happen this year. I think rates will start to come down, and I think the market's going to get crazy again, which I'm excited for.
Like meaning what? So you say great things are going to happen.
I just think you're going to have a lot more buyers. I think things are going to start moving. I mean, stuff's kind of moving, but I think things are really going to start moving once the rates come down and it becomes more affordable for buyers, and then sellers can sell their homes that they have
properties,
listed.
yeah.
So
yeah, because it's kind of stalled out right now, huh? The market.
Yeah.
I mean, wouldn't you call it like a market stall?
Yeah, I think that's a great analogy. It's definitely not like it was even a year ago.
Right.
So
yeah, it is wild, man. I mean, just watching the change in my business. I was thinking yesterday on the way home from work, and I'm like, the way that I've had to transform the way that I do business and work with my clients and everything is just so different now. And I'm like, oh man, it was so much. I would say it was easier. It was easier, but I would say it's even more. It's more challenging mentally for me, big time right now. Whereas before it was so turnkey. Everybody's just ready to rock. You know, they're doing something amazing. Hold on. Oh, I thought somebody walked in our door here. Oh, she did. Hey, Jen, will you close that door real quick? Thank you, sweetheart. Hi, Jen. First failure of my podcast career is I didn't freaking close the door when we're on the air. We're just kind of shooting the crap, fixing the lights. We have these lights up in my studio, and they keep falling down. But what I was going to say is that I just feel like that. I feel like that the market has changed to where it was so easy before, but now it's kind of you have to step into more of a mental challenge. People are going to have to learn different skills. Right? Have to
Correct.
Increase your skills, but along with your skills, you've got to maintain a good mental state. Now, let me ask you this. You've been through, with all of the success you've had in your business and in the marketplace, which has been exceptional, by the way. It's been fun to watch you grow and watch you just explode in the marketplace. Your name on some really high lists and things like that has been really cool to watch. But you've had to maintain a high mental stamina too, right? I mean, you've gone through a lot the last couple of years. Is that a fair statement?
That is more than a fair statement.
And I don't think a lot of people realize this. Like you've really experienced a lot of trauma and a lot of heartbreak and a lot of pain. And so what does it take as you go through things like that? What does it take for you to maintain a steady mindset?
Wow, that's a great question. Really, you really have to know your why and why you're doing things.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you hear it all the time. Sometimes I think it's cliche, but with some of the things that have happened, I've really had to dig deep. And in my opinion, when it's not about you and it becomes about other people, then that's really when you, I think, take off and can maintain that mental stability or that mental drive to keep going.
And tell me a little bit more about that. Let's share with me a little bit about kind of what's been going down. I know, I mean, there's 3 to 4 really main things that have happened in your life recently that have been challenging.
Yeah. And if I get emotional, I'm sorry, but
hey, it's okay. We do this here. We cry. We cuss.
Good. That's good because I do all of it. So, um, my sister, we'll start with my sister. My second oldest sister, Jody, she got sick, got cancer. She was living in San Francisco area.
And how long ago was this?
When she originally got diagnosed, she was, oh man, this is probably 3-4 years ago.
Right.
I should know the exact dates, but I don't.
Right. But well, everything's been a blur, hasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it has.
Yeah.
So she got sick, and then she got a clean bill of health. So she did chemo. Where they were at, they were pretty lucky because they had the state-of-the-art medical treatment for ovarian cancer.
Right.
So she did that. She got a clean bill of health. She flew into Utah so she could be with the family in the summer. And she flew in, and it wasn't even 8 hours from when she flew in. She got a phone call saying, your husband is in the hospital.
Oh my gosh, dude.
And so, yeah. So that happened. So she got on a plane and came back, and her kids all stayed in Utah. And then we found out that he had brain cancer.
Oh my gosh, dude.
So, yep. And then he passed away about a year from that. And then,
digging in a little bit
Yeah.
right now, huh?
and I think it's okay. Like
Yeah,
it's
okay. Yeah.
then about 3 months before he passed, Jody wasn't feeling good. She went back in and they said, hey, your cancer's back. So she tried a bunch of, different medications, new treatments or whatever, but she didn't make it and she passed away. So 6 kids, orphans, and it's like, what do you do? Like, how is this fair?
Right.
Like, and so
Now, what at that point, after they had both passed away, this was kind of towards the height of the market, right? And you have all this other stuff you're trying to do. You're trying to juggle your business, your clients, maintain a steady mindset.
Yeah.
Because I know this because you were doing a bunch of my files, and I was like, how are you awake right now? Like,
Well, yeah, I think a turning point for me with, with everything that was going on there, I had a mentor that called me up and said, "Hey, listen, it's like I know, like you need to mourn, and anybody that goes through tragedy, you have to,
Right.
So, but he told me, he's like, it's not about you, it's about those 6 kids, and so." You might not be able, and to be honest, I was little, and my little sister Annie has the kids, and she's been phenomenal. Her and Nick have
So your little sister took in the
kids,
all 6 kids, and they're living here in Utah.
Yeah, yep, they live in Utah, and then, and I'm going to be honest, I was a little upset that the kids didn't come to me. For some reason.
Yeah.
I thought I could. I could do a great job, not to diminish anything for my little sister, but
Right.
they ended up going to Annie. And so I was a little heartbroken with that, but it turned out that that's exactly what needed to happen. And
Right.
they've been phenomenal.
And there were some other things that unfolded later and after that maybe it wouldn't have been the best scenario for the kids to be in your home, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Right.
So about probably 6 months after my sister passed, my wife got diagnosed with MS.
Right.
So it just was like one thing, next thing. So I'm going to go back to what that mentor, he called me up and he said, hey, listen, it's not about you. It's about the kids. And if you think about at the time, like you don't want to hear that it's not about you, because it's like,
Right.
Look, I lost my sister, Casey, her husband. We golfed together all the time. He was a really good friend to me. And
you're mourning and you're feeling all this pain. So to hear someone say it's not about you was probably pretty hard to tackle, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
But it was probably one of the best things anyone's ever said. He said, listen, what you can do and what you can control is how you can help those kids. So he's like, hey, Brett, what would happen if you closed one more deal or two deals and you dedicated it to those kids? And I was like,
Boom.
Okay,
Yeah.
this is because I can't control that Casey and Jody were taken away. I
Right.
can't control that these kids lost their parents. I can't control, and he hadn't told me this, but the concept's the same. I can't control that my wife has MS, but the things that I can control, I'm going to go do, and I'm going to be really good at it. And there's a lot of things I think that come from it. One, it takes your mind off of, like, if you go to work and you're like, okay, for Olivia, Hallie, Luke, Lincoln, um, Emma, and Bo, those are Jody's kids. I can go and there's I can collect this money and I can have a cabin that we can take them to. I can help them with their school if they need help with their school. If they need stuff for their sports, I can help them, right?
Hmm.
So for me, it's like, look, I've got a purpose. It's not about me.
Right.
It's about these kids and how I can help them. And even though it's a small thing, it's great. And
I don't think it's a small thing. I think that's a huge thing. I mean,
yeah,
you think about it now. I mean, these children are literally without their parents, and they've got to step up. And you, as an uncle, and your sister as an aunt, and the rest of the family as the village, right,
right.
needs to step up and rally around these kids and give them now the life that their parents would give them through these critical growing ages. Because how old are they? From oldest to youngest, what's the range like from?
Um, Hallie's on a mission in Chicago,
So she's 20.
I think she's 20.
Okay.
If that's wrong, I'm sorry, Hallie. And then Bo just turned 8. So
Okay.
he's
So from 8 to 20 years old and everything in between. So they're in their prime developmental stages. And so for you guys to step up as, as the village, as the family, and help them through everything. How has that been? What's that been like for you and for your sister and her family?
I think there's really good moments for them,
Mhm.
but I also think that there's hard moments. And I mean, that's life. Like,
Right.
we all have them. And like, if you think about it, like, yeah, you can think of it like, yeah, this is a tragedy. But if you go back, everybody's going to experience like heartache and loss of loved ones. But
Right.
the question I'd ask you, Alma, is, are you going to freeze?
Right.
Right? Or can we find meaning in direction and learn? I mean, again, it's this cliche, but can you learn from it and then move forward and run with it?
And what do you mean by freeze? I mean, from the perspective of, you're talking to me, I'm a provider for my family.
Yeah. Well, when these things happen, are you going to go into the mindset as, woe is me?
Right.
Like, I can't do this. I can't handle it. Because I think you can find things to help you like move forward. Like, I never forget, every single day I think about Jode,
Yeah.
Casey, those kids, like,
Right. Every day. Right.
but it's you can find meaning, and you have to, because if you don't, you'll just be stuck and things won't happen. And so you go back to that mindset, what you're asking, like, it's like you've got to find the meaning and you got to go for it.
And do you feel like you've found a greater purpose, a greater meaning in your life after this tragedy?
Yeah. And I think I'm going to take it one step further. Like, I've got an incredible team, right? And so, yeah, all this stuff happens, but I've also got, okay.
I can't imagine you living for anything other than me and my business. So that's why I asked that question.
No, it's a good question. And I'm and you know this, like, I keep a lot of stuff in, like, I don't wear a lot of emotions on my sleeve. And so,
Right.
But I've got a single mom with 2 kids.
Right.
I've got another awesome gal there. I just
That works with you on your team.
And so we have just a great team, but you have the responsibility. I want to make their life great. Like, I want their kids to have a good life. I want them to be able to not have to live, paycheck to paycheck and struggle through life. And so there's so many things you can find meaning in, right? Like,
Right.
you can set goals and say, hey, I want to make $1 million, right? I've been there and it's a great feeling. But for lack of better terms, if you can find meaning in people and other things
Right.
other than the money, it's mind change. Like, that's what will keep you on track.
So tell me how. So you had all this go down, and they both passed, and then the kids, you have to take on the kids and deal, and help them through this whole process, and then you find out Nessa has MS. What is that? Another level? Like you got to go to another level?
Well, things have changed for me, and I try. Like she's amazing, but it's like, hey, there's days where Brett, you got to take the kids to school. I can't do it. Or
Right.
Brett, I can't do dinner. And that's totally okay.
Right.
And I'm not trying to paint a picture that it's like somebody's job or whatnot, but stuff that she would normally do that she's incredible at,
Right.
Gets limited. And so you've got to step up your game on that side of it. And so
you got to dig deeper, find another level.
yeah. And quite honestly, it's been amazing because I love my work that I do. I love it. And there's sometimes I get lost in it, and I think everybody can, but you forget some of the important things. And so it's almost been forced. Hey, you need to be with the kids more. You need to, and because mom can't do it.
Right.
And so, and it's been awesome. I think my relationship with my kids have just grown. And so again, you can sit back and say, oh, this really is crappy.
Right.
This sucks. But I've looked forward and said, oh, you know what? This gives me an opportunity to spend more time with my Clo girl,
right,
or with Drew and Ollie. And it's been,
and you've been able to do that. I mean, so tell me what has it been like for you since you picked an industry that can be quite fruitful, and you've really mastered that industry over the years, right? I remember
still learning.
I remember the first time I had this, excuse me, you had come to me and you were like, hey dude, I want to do your deals. I want to do your deals. And I was like, no, I have a lender right now. I have a lender. And you're like, no, I want to do your deals. I want to do your deals. Just give me a shot. Give me a chance. And you were so persistent. And this is what, 10 years ago, maybe. Right. And, I was like, no, man, I have this lender. I've been working with him, whatever. And in actuality, I just started working with this lender and I was kind of feeling him out a little bit, but I like to give people a try. Right.
Yeah.
And then you're like, just give me one of your deals. And I'm like, no. And then I remember that lender effed up one of my deals. And I was like,
I didn't know this story, by the way.
Yeah. So then I was like, I walk into your office and I sit down and I go, all right, dude, you got my business. Do you remember that?
I remember it.
All right, man, you got my business. I'm going to give you everything. Let's go kick ass. And you're like, okay, I'm in. Let's go. And ever since then, you've just been such a phenomenal partner in business for me. I just want to thank you for that. And a dear friend. I mean, I
appreciate the trust in me.
Yeah. Well, our relationship has grown so much. Our friendship has just blossomed like crazy. I consider you a brother. And, I'm so thankful that you were so persistent because what came out of that means so much to me.
I appreciate it.
That got me all emotional.
I have that effect on people. I'm a sensitive 90s guy. So, what you might not know, Alma, is when you came in at that time, it was almost like a reset of the market.
Yeah, I remember.
Probably about 2010.
Yeah,
and it was kind of similar to this.
Right.
And so there was just a lot of hustling, and it was like manna from heaven.
Right.
When you walked in, I just remember how excited I was, and I'm like, man, this really works. It really works to be persistent and do your job. And again, I'm grateful. Like Alma and I have had some great experiences picking up a boat in, was it Merced?
In Merced, California. Yeah.
Staying in Reno. Him teaching me how to pull a boat and grabbing the old shit handle.
To tow a boat.
Yep.
Yeah, you taught me how to play blackjack, and I taught you how to tow a boat.
Oh man, that was fun.
That was the first time. Did I tell you that? That was the first time I've ever played blackjack before.
I didn't know that.
Was in Reno with you.
Yeah. I think we got our butts kicked. But.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, it was your money, so I was down. You're like, here, dude, here, play some of my money. I'm like, okay, sure. I got nothing to lose. That was fun though, dude. Good memories. But yeah, I'm glad you were so persistent. And for those of you out there who are considering being persistent, just go do it. Like, I know everybody's so nervous and so whatever, but there's always this time when even someone who, at that time I'd been in the business for probably, 10 years or something like that. And at that time, I was set in my ways. And so a lot of times you lenders out there, you new lenders, you think that these agents are set in their ways. Not necessarily. Like, still try, still be persistent, still say, hey, give me one deal, give me one chance. It really matters, because at some point, some things do change and you can get those deals.
What's the worst thing someone can say to you?
No.
That's it.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
can you
just
handle them telling you no?
Yeah.
Well,
Yep.
that would be my advice to anybody out there. Just keep going.
Keep going. Tell me about how you keep going, with your mindset, with what's going on with Vanessa, the increase of time with your kids, the change in the market.
Yeah, I am a small awards guy. So like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to reward myself for like little victories, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and so, I love to golf.
I didn't know that you do. That was amazing.
So
I had no idea.
I'll look forward to like a Saturday tournament. So like in the week, I'm going to say, look, I'm going to play in this tournament, but I'm going to reach this goal.
Mm-hmm.
And if I reach it, then I'm playing.
You also taught me how to golf too. So
yeah, I got problems. So, and I think if they don't have to be these grand things. Like, I think some people are like, hey, I'm going to make this grand and I'm going to go to Fiji and all this stuff. And
right.
like, I think it's good to plan for stuff like that. But I also think just set small, tangible things. Like, this week, I want to get 15 leads.
Right.
I want to pre-approve 7 people, and I want to get 3 contracts. Like, as a lender, like looking at that, saying that's my goal, and if I do it, I'm gonna go play in this golf tournament. And if I don't, then maybe I should go in the office and work instead of golfing.
Right.
So, just little things like that. And we've been implementing this with my family. Is
okay.
If dad can reach these goals and the kids can reach these goals, then maybe we can go to Disneyland.
That's rad, man. Yeah. So, then you make it an effort by everybody rather than, hey, dad and mom taking us to Disneyland.
When we've done this, it's awesome. It's like Chloe will come up to me. That she's 16 now. She's just an awesome girl.
She's adorable, man.
But she'll come up and be like, Dad, how are you doing in your at work? Did you get the deals that you need? Did you get the leads that you need? I really want to go to Disneyland. Like,
oh, dude, she's holding you accountable, huh?
Yes. Yeah. Yep. And so it's good, but that's probably my main thing. And I figured this out probably 7-8 years ago, is just, and you can do it on a weekly basis. It can be a month, whatever. Just set a small goal and then go conquer that, and then set another one. So,
and how did you start in lending? Because I know it was kind of, you had some really great mentors starting out and things like that. What caused you to go, oh yeah, I want to go be a lender?
That's a good question.
I say it like it's boring, but you actually do it like it's fun. So
I was working at a credit union, and I wanted to go into accounting, of all things. And I took some accounting classes, and I'm like, this is not for me. But I love numbers. And so I was doing like database stuff for the credit union. It was Transwest Credit Union. And
little credit union here in Utah, right?
Yeah. Based out of Salt Lake, Railroaders Credit Union. But the CEO came to me and said, hey, listen, I think you would be great doing loans. So he put me in doing like car loans, and then turned into home equities. And then I graduated, and he's like, I'm going to make you a branch manager, and I want you to do mortgages. And so I was like, okay. So I started doing, I had no idea what I was doing.
We never do it, right, in our early stages.
No clue. And so, but got in and just started doing it. And I'm like, wow, this is actually pretty good. It's awesome to take somebody from here and get them into their house so they can start creating memories, and that's where they're living. And I'm like, this is actually really cool. And then the further along we went, I'm like, holy cow, there's some good money in here if you can generate the business. And that's really how it started for me.
And what's the most important aspect? Because you're really good at this. You're really good at generating business and keeping long-term clients, to the point to where if like I'll have clients of mine that are like, oh, we're working with Brett again, right? I really liked him, you know? So what has it been like for you, or how do you do that as far as maintaining clients and generating clients?
Oh, this could be an hour long conversation, but I think the very first thing is you always do what's right for the client. And that's always been my motto is you always do what's right. And so,
Yeah, because I've seen you even tell people, hey, you can get a better deal over here. You might want to consider that. And I'm like, what? Like,
so
is that a thing? Like,
well,
but
and
you're totally candid with people, right?
right, but like if you do it right and you treat them like family and you're honest, the majority of the time they're not going to leave you. So, hey, yeah, you can go over to this place and you can get a rate that's an eighth better,
Mhm.
right? Um, but if you stay with me, this is what we're going to do. You're going to be taken care of. Here's the difference in payment. And most of the time, they're like, Brett, I'm going to stay with you. And that's what the real estate agent wants, I hope.
Now, do people
So,
stay with you specifically because you have a pumpkin patch every December or every October
October,
that people can go to and pick out pumpkins?
it's a little more than that. So I try to call my past clients quarterly
Okay.
and ask them how they're doing. How's the home? What can we do for you? And then we'll,
Write this down, lenders. Write this down.
right. And then I think
So
real
call
estate
your past
agents
clients quarterly.
you do it as well,
Hmm.
right?
Yep. It's an
Um,
agent thing too, for sure.
and it's like people think, oh, I don't want to call them bug, but they want to hear from you.
Yeah, they do.
And so
Especially
do
if they liked you.
yeah,
Especially if they liked you. Yeah.
yeah. So and it's okay to ask questions like, do you like your house? Like, do you like your neighborhood? Are the schools good? Is the house big enough for you? How's your financial situation? Oh, things are a little tight. Have you thought about a refinance and see if we can get your total payment down? So, I mean, you have that, and then not only we do the pumpkin patch, I try to do 3 events. So we try to do a movie event.
Hmm.
That got a little dicey there when COVID hit
COVID.
because
Yeah.
we couldn't even go to the movies. And now movies are starting to come out again, but they just weren't producing them
Movies
because
are
of COVID.
still dead, man. I mean,
Yeah.
it's crazy to see like I'll go to a movie and like the other day, brand new movie out. It was I can't remember what it was, some kids movie. And we were the only ones in the theater. I'm
Yeah.
like, whoa, dude, movies are still not quite back to the way they were.
Yeah.
But
And who knows? But the point is I call them a client appreciation events. Like
mhm.
I really want the clients to know that, hey, we care, we appreciate it. And it's amazing now. Like if you take care of them, all of a sudden, hey, my brother's going to buy, or
Mhm.
hey, my son's going to buy, like whatever it is. Like it's creating business just by being, again, I like the word persistent, but being
Right.
persistent and really showing that you care.
Guys, if you work with Brett Wilson, you can actually participate in his client appreciation events because you give him all that business. They become his clients, and then you tell your clients that are his clients to go to the events, and then now they become your client appreciation events.
Well, there you go.
It's been really helpful for us in our business because we're like, oh, this is so cool. Like Brett does these events that all of our clients go to, and we benefit from it hugely. So I appreciate you doing those events.
Well, and essentially that's the purpose of it.
Right.
And then the other thing, which we are getting back into, we used to be really good at this, and then when COVID hit, we couldn't get people to produce things, but we think it's really important to gift throughout the process of the loan.
To
So
gift.
to gift.
Yeah.
Yep. So our model right now, and again, this isn't any secret, but we have what's called an all about you form. So we want to know about the client.
Hmm.
And so if they say, hey, my favorite team is the Cubs,
Hmm.
like we're going to give them, we're going to go on Amazon and get them like something with the Chicago Cubs.
Right.
Right. And then when they go under contract and we order an appraisal, we want to do like from the all about you, like what's your favorite treat? What's your favorite restaurant? What's your favorite drink? So let's say they say Barks Root Beer, Baby Ruth Candy Bar, and Texas Roadhouse.
Wow, dude.
So we get a little box and we put that stuff in there.
Uh-huh.
We put some balloons on it, and if they're working, we're going to deliver it to their work with some balloons. So we're going to walk that in there, so people are going to be like, "Hey,
Who's this? Who's
what's
getting all this cool?
My lender doesn't do that, right?" So,
and trust me, dude, their lender does not do that.
right. And
Yeah.
so they get that and they're like, okay, cool. So that generates, some business hopefully.
Hmm.
And then we used to do the cutting board.
Right, dude.
So,
I love that still because we have our cutting board, right?
Uh-huh.
We've done loans through you guys. Gave us one of those. I go into my clients' houses when I'm reselling their home and they're cutting your cutting boards up in their kitchen,
yeah.
and I'm like, dude, this is so cool. It's such a good representation, but you can only do cutting boards so many times, right?
Right. And so I've got a machine on order.
Uh-huh.
Because we were ordering them out and they're just taking forever to get. And so we our goal is to have them at closing, but I've got a machine that's coming where we can actually laser the boards, and the boards are
Nice.
cool. So it will say like Merrill, have some. There's all sorts of things you can put on. And then on the back, it'll have it'll say Brett Wilson with my phone number, and
Right.
it will say Alma Merrill with his phone number.
Yeah. And that's really cool. Yeah. You turn it over. It's got Brett's logo. It's got my logo or whatever other agent that Brett's working with. Cause I've seen other agents. It's so funny. I went into this appointment. I listed this house and one of your cutting boards was in their house. And some other agent's name was on the back of the cutting board because I didn't work with them the first time, but I got them the second time.
That's awesome. I love it. I love it. So, but I mean, it's just little things like that. And I think people appreciate it. I mean, some might think it's cheesy if you're not a gift person, but it's just,
Right.
You got to show people you really appreciate and care. We really do.
Yeah. I think that's really important to budget a certain amount for your clients to tell them you love them.
Yep.
Make sure they appreciate them. Sweet, man. What else? So keep in touch with your clients. How do you go strum up new business? What's your tactic for strumming new business?
Sure. Some of you might be familiar with the Core. I trained with the Core for a long time.
Yeah, which is a coaching company,
correct.
right?
Yep. And
Highly accountable,
yeah,
right?
a lot of accountability, but basically I just follow their method. So I call 40 real estate agents on Monday. On Tuesday, I'm doing updates. So I'm updating the listing agent, the buyer's agent, the buyers, and the title company, which is important because
Right.
if you're good with your title company, they send you business.
And you've been consistent with this for a long time. Yeah.
Yep. And then we call past clients on Wednesday. We call what we call VIP. So our favorite people we call, and they're the people that will help you get business, right?
Right.
And lastly, it's builders. And I'm not very good at that, but that's one of my goals this year is to get some builders.
Okay.
So,
dude, that is some great information, man. And then what do you think? I know we touched on this a little bit when we started, but before we go, what do you think the market, what's your projection of 2023 market toward, let's say the middle of the year? What are we going to look like?
middle of the year.
Yeah. I know that's kind of an interesting question, but
Can I use some stats?
yeah, let's do it.
So, and these won't be to the exact number, but they'll be pretty close. So last year at this time, there was around 2,000 homes for sale in Utah.
Mhm.
Okay. Interest rates were at 3%. Okay. When interest rates got at their peak to around 7.25, there was almost 10,000 homes for sale on the market in Utah. Interest rates went down to 1%. And now I think we're strumming along like 7,800, or is the last thing I looked at maybe a week ago or something. So people say interest rate doesn't matter, but I think if that interest rate keeps going down, your inventory is going to go down.
Right.
And will we see a market like we had, a year or two ago?
Mhm.
I don't know, but I think the inventory is going to go down, which tells me there's more buyers. Sellers' homes are selling. Does it become a seller's market? I think
that would be interesting. Yeah.
I think eventually we'll get there, but I really think after the first quarter, like April, May, I really think it's going to really start hopping, and we can already see that it's like already starting.
It is starting
to
pick up a little bit. Like
Yeah.
I know my buyer clients are less scared or skittish than they were,
Right.
3 months ago, or 2 months ago.
Right.
So okay.
So, but yeah, middle of the year, I think interest rates will probably be in the fives. I mean, I don't have the crystal ball, but this is what I think. I think they'll be in the low to mid fives, maybe even the high fours, and I think it's going to get crazy.
Sweet, dude. Bro, thanks for sharing a little bit of yourself with us and giving us a quick, sweet market update.
I love you, brother.
Love you, man. Where can people find Brett Wilson?
Call me 801-497-6403.
Okay, call him. Brett Wilson, my favorite lender in the whole world. We'll see you guys next time on Clozer Cult Podcast. Hit us up on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all the loves, and share and subscribe. We'll talk to you guys next time.